The Monkey is a new dark gore comedy directed by Osgood Perkins, the director of last year's horror movie of the year, according to some people, Longlegs, based off of a Stephen King short story. This movie revolves around this wind-up toy monkey that whenever you turn the key in its back, he bangs his little drum set, but every time he bangs his drum set, someone dies very horribly. It winds up in the possession of these twin brothers. At one point during childhood, they were able to get rid of the monkey, but years later as adults, it's now resurfaced, it's killing people again, and now they gotta find a way to get rid of it once and for all. Longlegs was the first movie that I really became familiar with Osgood Perkins in. I thought it was a very well-made horror movie. I would argue it might have been the best horror movie of the year until Nosferatu happened. Although Late Night with the Devil was also pretty fucking great. Anyways, I digress. When I saw the trailer for The Monkey, it really did intrigue me. It looked fucked up, and it looked morbid, and it looked like it had a horror vibe to it, but it also looked like it had a very comedic vibe to it, and that's what got me interested. I mean, it's based off a Stephen King short story, so you know it's gonna have some sort of horror aspect to it, but I've never read the short story, so I don't really know what the story was about, or what the story of this movie was gonna lead into. And you know, early reactions coming out of it were a little bit mixed. There were some people who liked it, there were some people who didn't really like it. Speaking for myself, I really fucking enjoyed this movie. So I'll just say this out the gate. The Monkey is maybe labeled as a horror comedy. It's not really. A dark comedy, abso-fucking-lutely. It's a morbid, fucked up movie about people who die. But it's not really scary. And that's what I'll say right now. I think for the people out there who haven't seen the trailer for The Monkey and are interested in seeing this movie, I implore you to watch the trailer first, because the trailer does give you a little bit of a vibe to expect going into the movie. Like, the trailer was playing off some jokes, the trailer was making the death aspect seem more like a joke. So I think if you see the trailer, it allows you to go into this movie with that particular mindset. And yeah, right out the gate, you pretty much know exactly what you're getting with this movie. I mean, right out the gate, the movie begins with the monkey banging on its drum, someone dies horrifically, and then someone makes a really vulgar joke at the monkey. Like, that established me right out the gate. I'm like, okay, I know what this movie's going for. Like, it's definitely going for a very Final Destination sort of feel, but in Final Destination, that movie franchise leans a lot more into the horror of the graphic deaths that happen to characters. This one leans straight up into the comedy, because the way people die in this movie, it's really brutal, and it's graphic, and it's horrible, but it's executed in such a way that it's really funny. I mean, people die in this movie, you laugh really hard, you cover your mouth because it's so brutal, and you don't want to seem like a morbid individual, but I gotta tell you, my theater and myself, everyone was dying laughing at so many different points in this movie when characters died. We even did this, like, interesting transitional thing where, you know, a character would die and then it would immediately shift over to the funeral. Or maybe characters would talk about using the monkey and then it shifts over to someone's other funeral and then you're like, alright, they probably used the monkey and that's who died because of it. It's really insane, wild deaths that happen, but what can I say? I thought it was hilarious. And yeah, the deaths 100% are very satisfying in this movie. If you want to come and see just gory, bloody death, it's done very well here. I mean, it's very exaggerated, it's very over the top, it's completely ridiculous, but it works. Like, you watch this and you see the way some people are taken out, and you're just like, I don't know if that sort of thing would do that to another human being, but I suppose it's not impossible. But it's that sort of element you're not really prepared to call bullshit on the movie for. You're just here to enjoy some carnage. And I think that is what I do need to address right here with everybody. This is not the type of movie you're supposed to take seriously. Like, you're not gonna come here for the story, for the characters, certainly not really for the horror aspect necessarily. You're here to watch people die in an extremely fucked up, hilarious fashion. And that's what I'll say right now. This is not like a generational movie of any sort. It knew exactly what it was, and I appreciate that. But as far as flaws go, this movie does have some. Theo James, I will say, he does a really good job in this movie, especially playing the two twin brothers. I mean, you have one who's very well aware that this monkey is a big problem. It needs to be taken out. It's murdering people. And you have the other twin brother who is a fucking dick to the other brother, like, especially when they were kids. And he's grown up and he wants to use the monkey for his own doing. He did a very good job at playing those two different aspects of these two different characters. And I appreciate that. Showed his range. That's for the main brother's character, because he's the protagonist of the story. Do you really care about what's going on with him? Not particularly. I mean, he has this relationship with his son, and like, he and his son are very estranged, and you know, he wants to try to mend a relationship with him, but he hasn't because he's afraid of this monkey and it killing him. But, you know, there's also a stage at this point where he only sees his son once a year and his son's about to be just taken out of his life entirely because of that. I will also say this much too. If you are a horror movie fanatic and you walked out of this movie disappointed or felt like you were gypped a little bit, I can understand that to a degree, because I do feel like 2025 so far has been the year of falsely marketed horror movies. I mean, one was more of a supernatural drama than a horror, one was more of a sci-fi romantic thriller than a horror, and one was just a really dark comedy more than it was a horror. So yeah, I get it. People who love horror movies, people who are craving those scary, thrilling, intense movies that keep you up at night, you guys are craving something here, and I think you were hoping maybe with a Stephen King adaptation you were going to get that, and it's not really here, so I can see that. But yeah, just speaking for myself as someone who's admittedly not a big horror movie fanatic, once I accepted what this movie was, I was completely able to roll with it, and if you're someone who can go in with that mentality, I think you will too. So all in all, yeah, The Monkey, I had a really great time with this movie. The deaths are completely satisfying. They're timed in an incredibly comedic way. I mean, if you have a morbid, messed up sense of humor, I think you're really gonna fucking dig this movie. I was laughing a lot in this movie. The movie used its shock value extremely well. I mean, even the writing in this movie, there were just certain moments where people just timed their lines totally perfectly in a situation. I was cracking up from it. I mean, the story's nothing to get invested in. Did I care about the brothers' relationship or the father-son storyline? The answer is no to both. Did the movie, I feel like, care if I cared? I don't think so. It does feel a little bit like a one-and-done movie, though. Like, I saw this once in theaters and I very much enjoyed it. I don't know if it's the type of movie I will personally seek out again, though, only because I don't think it's the type of movie that will have the same effect on me a second time. It's one of those, like, it uses its shock value to the highest degree, and because of that, once it's gone, it would probably feel a little less enjoyable the second go around. But in the end, this is easily the funniest movie I've seen so far this year. I laughed to tears at so many different points, and yeah, I know it's early enough in the year, but I would say so far it's the most fun I had with the movie. So yeah, I'm gonna give The Monkey a 7 out of 10. This one I think is absolutely worth going to the movies for.
All right, come on, hurry up, Brian. I don't want to miss the movie trivia slides before the movie.
So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to comment and like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.